Prince Harald disappeared during morning training. One moment we were practicing sword forms in the forest clearing, the next he was gone, vanished like morning mist. And because I'm his combat instructor, the warrior responsible for keeping the young prince safe, every royal guard turned to me with suspicion. They said I killed him. They said I betrayed my sacred duty. But I didn't harm that boy. I've trained him since he was 8 winters old, watched him grow from clumsy child to skilled fighter. Someone took him, and the only person who benefits from Harald's disappearance is his older brother, Prince Erik, next in line for the throne. If you suspect royal brothers compete for power, you understand Viking succession. Drop your theory below. My name is Gunnar, and for 6 winters I've served as Prince Harald's personal combat instructor. King Ragnar chose me specifically, a veteran warrior with 20 battles survived, known for both skill and loyalty. My job? Teach the youngest prince everything needed to lead Viking warriors someday. Harald was 12 winters old now, bright, quick learner, better with swords than most grown men. He had his father's tactical mind and his mother's fierce spirit. The kingdom loved him, whispered that he'd make a better king than his older brother Erik when the time came. And that whisper was the problem. Prince Erik was 18 winters old, strong warrior, adequate leader, but cold, calculating. Where Harald showed mercy and wisdom beyond his years, Erik showed only ambition and calculation. The War Council privately worried about Erik inheriting. Some even suggested King Ragnar might bypass traditional succession, name Harald as heir instead. Erik heard those whispers, and his resentment grew. This morning started normally. Dawn training in the forest clearing we used daily. Harald and I working through advanced sword techniques, preparing for his upcoming warrior trial at 13 winters. Guard higher, I instructed. Your opponent will aim for the throat when you drop defense. Harald adjusted, blocked my strike perfectly. Like this? Exactly. You're learning fast. Soon you'll best warriors twice your age. Will father let me join the summer raid? I'm ready, Gunnar. I know I am. That's the king's decision, my prince. But yes, I believe you're ready. Harald smiled, that genuine smile that made everyone love him. Erik says I'm too young, that I'd be liability in real battle. Your brother worries for you. No, Erik worries I'll prove myself and threaten his position. Harald wasn't stupid. He understood the political reality. He doesn't want me succeeding. Before I could respond, Harald asked for a water break. There was a stream 50 paces north. We'd used it countless times. Safe location, familiar territory. I'll be right back, Harald said, heading toward the stream. Don't wander far, I called. Standard warning. The forest was generally safe this close to the royal compound, but wild. Animals existed. Bandits occasionally passed through. I continued stretching, preparing for the next training sequence. 5 minutes passed. Then 10. Harald should have returned by now. Prince Harald? I called. No answer. I walked to the stream, found his water skin on the ground, but no Harald. No signs of struggle, no blood, no tracks beyond his own leading to the water's edge. Harald! I shouted, louder now. This isn't funny. Training isn't finished. Nothing. Just forest silence and growing dread in my gut. I searched frantically, checked every nearby area, called until my voice went hoarse. The prince had vanished completely. Impossibly. I ran back to the compound, raising the alarm. Within minutes, royal guards flooded the forest. Search parties spreading in all directions. King Ragnar himself arrived, face pale with fear. "Where's my son?" he demanded. "Where is Harald?" I don't know, my king. He went to the stream for water. When I followed, he was gone. You were supposed to protect him. That was your sacred duty. I know. I failed. But I swear I didn't harm him. Someone took him while my back was turned. Prince Erik appeared, face showing concern that didn't quite reach his eyes. The instructor lost my brother? How convenient. Maybe Gunnar was paid by enemies, sold Harald to Saxon slavers, or killed him to hide his own incompetence. My blood went cold. Erik was already building the narrative, already framing me for betrayal. They chained me in the dungeon before sunset. Heavy iron, the kind reserved for Viking traitors and child murderers. Above me, search parties scoured the forest for Prince Harald. Every hour brought no news, no body, no trace, just a vanished prince and mounting suspicion that I'd committed the worst betrayal imaginable. King Ragnar visited my cell at midnight. His face showed grief mixed with rage. My son trusted you. I trusted you. Where is Harald? I don't know, my king. Someone took him while I wasn't looking. This was planned. Someone knew our training schedule, knew we'd be in that forest clearing. Who? Who would kidnap a Norse prince? Someone who benefits from his disappearance. Someone who wants him gone. I met the king's eyes. Prince Erik has the most to gain. Ragnar's expression darkened. You accuse my eldest son? My heir? I accuse whoever took Harald, and only one person profits from the youngest prince vanishing before his warrior trial, before the war council starts suggesting he should inherit instead of his brother. The king struck me, hard. Erik may be cold, but he's no traitor. He wouldn't harm his own brother for power. Would you believe your son capable of such Viking betrayal? Tell me what family loyalty means. But doubt flickered in Ragnar's eyes. He'd heard the same whispers, knew Erik resented Harald, knew succession politics poisoned even royal families. If Erik took him, where's the proof? Where's my son? Search Erik's private chambers, his personal guards' quarters. Someone loyal to him must know something. Ragnar left without promising anything. But hours later, I heard activity above. Sounds of searching, angry voices, then Prince Erik's shouts echoing through corridors. The next morning, Erik visited my cell, alone, smiling. The instructor dares accuse me, he said quietly. Claims I kidnapped my own brother. Bold lies from a criminal. Where is he, Erik? What did you do with Harald? I did nothing. But you're the last person who saw him alive, the warrior responsible for his safety. When they find his body, you'll face Blood Eagle for this Viking crime. They won't find a body, because Harald isn't dead. You need him alive, leverage for something. What's your plan? Erik's smile widened. Father searched my chambers, found nothing, no evidence, no hidden prints, just a concerned older brother worried about his missing sibling. He leaned closer. Harald's safe, hidden where no one will find him, and you take the blame. Perfect betrayal framed on the perfect scapegoat. Why? Why would you do this? Because Harald threatens everything. The War Council loves him. Whispers about bypassing me for succession grow louder daily. But if Harald disappears, tragic accident, presumed dead, then I'm the only heir. The throne is mine without question. And if he's found alive? He won't be. Not until I'm crowned. Not until succession is secured. Erik stood. Enjoy your last days, instructor. When father gives up hope of finding Harald, you hang as the traitor who murdered a prince. After Erik left, I sat in darkness, understanding the full conspiracy. Erik hadn't killed Harald. That would risk a body being found, evidence discovered. Instead, He'd hidden his brother somewhere secure. Let everyone assume the worst. Let me take blame. And when enough time passed, he'd quietly eliminate Harald and claim the throne. Unless I could prove Erik's guilt. Unless someone believed me. That afternoon, a young servant girl approached my cell, nervous, glancing around to ensure no guards watched. "You're Gunnar?" she whispered. "Prince Harald's teacher?" "Yes. Who are you?" "Helga. I clean Prince Erik's chambers. I heard things, saw things." She pulled a small piece of cloth from her dress. "Found this under Erik's bed. It's Prince Harald's training tunic, torn, like he struggled." Hope surged. "That's evidence. Show the king." "I'm just a servant. Who'd believe me? Erik would call me liar, have me executed." Helga pushed the cloth through the bars. "But you can use it. Make them investigate properly." She fled before I could thank her. But I held the torn tunic, proof that Harald had been in Erik's chambers. Proof of Viking conspiracy at the highest level. I called for guards, showed them Harald's torn tunic. "This proves Prince Erik's involved. The youngest prince was in his brother's chambers before disappearing." The guards examined it skeptically. "Or you planted it, trying to frame Prince Erik to save yourself." "A servant found it. Helga. She cleans Erik's rooms." They searched for Helga. Couldn't find her. She'd fled, terrified of Erik's revenge. Without her testimony, the tunic meant nothing, just cloth that could have come from anywhere. But King Ragnar heard about the discovery, demanded to see me. "My servant claims you have Harald's tunic. Explain." I told him everything. Helga's confession, the cloth hidden under Erik's bed, Erik's private visit where he basically admitted the conspiracy. "Erik visited you? Alone? What did he say?" "That Harald's hidden safely, that he'll keep him until succession is secured, that I'll die as the convenient traitor who murdered a prince." Ragnar's face showed conflict. "These are serious accusations against my heir. Without proof, the tunic is proof. The tunic is cloth, could be old, could be planted. I need more." But his voice wavered. Doubt was growing. "Where would Erik hide Harald? The compound has been searched thoroughly." "Somewhere outside, a loyal friend's estate, a hunting lodge, somewhere he controls completely." "Is your family capable of such betrayal? Share your darkest suspicions below." Ragnar considered. "Erik has a friend, Jarl Torsten, owns land 30 miles north. Erik visits there often. Hunting trips, he says. Search it. If Harald's anywhere, he's there. If I'm wrong, if I accuse Erik falsely, I damage my own heir's reputation, undermine his future rule. And if you're right, you save one son from the other's ambition." That evening, Ragnar sent trusted warriors north, 20 men, led by his most loyal commander. Orders: search Torsten's estate quietly, report findings immediately. 2 days passed. I sat, chained, praying they'd find Harald, praying I was right. On the third morning, riders returned, carrying someone small, wrapped in blankets. Prince Harald, alive, thin, frightened, but breathing. The compound erupted. Harald was brought to his father, who wept openly. I was released from chains, cleared of all accusations. Harald told his story to the assembled war council. Erik's men grabbed me at the stream, covered my mouth, dragged me to horses hidden nearby. They took me to Jarl Torsten's lodge, kept me locked in a cellar, said I'd stay there until Erik was crowned. "Did Erik himself come?" Ragnar asked. "Once, told me this was necessary, that he couldn't risk me challenging his succession. Promised he wouldn't kill me, just keep me away until throne was secure." Prince Erik was arrested immediately, denied everything. Torsten acted alone. I knew nothing. My friend must have thought he was helping me. But Harald's testimony was clear. Erik had visited, spoken to him directly, admitted the conspiracy. The thing. Assembly was called. Evidence presented. Harald's testimony. The torn tunic. Torsten's confession after capture that Erik had paid him to hide the prince. Erik's defense crumbled. His ambition had driven him to betray his own blood, to kidnap his brother for power. King Ragnar's face showed heartbreak. You're my son, my heir, and you committed treason against your own family. I did what was necessary, Erik shouted. Harald threatened my rightful inheritance. The throne is mine by birth order. The throne is earned through honor, Ragnar said coldly. You've proven yourself unworthy. The assembly's verdict came swiftly. Guilty of royal conspiracy, kidnapping, and betrayal of Viking family bonds. And I stood vindicated, cleared of all accusations, as Prince Erik faced consequences for his ambition. The Thing assembly gathered at sunset. 300 Viking warriors formed the judgment circle. Prince Erik knelt in chains, facing his father and the war council. King Ragnar spoke first, voice heavy with grief. My son stands accused of kidnapping his own brother, of conspiracy against royal blood, of betrayal that violates every Norse honor code we hold sacred. How do you answer these charges? I acted for the kingdom's future, Erik said, no remorse in his voice. Harald is weak, soft. He'd make a terrible king. I did what was necessary to ensure strong Viking leadership. You kidnapped a 12-year-old child, I said from the witness position, framed an innocent warrior, lied to your own father. That's not strength. That's cowardice. Erik's eyes blazed with hatred toward me. The instructor poisoned father's mind against me, turned Harald into the favorite. This is his conspiracy, not mine. Then explain why Harald was found in your friend's cellar, Commander Bjorn countered. Explain the torn tunic in your chambers. Explain visiting Harald and admitting the plot to him directly. Jarl Torsten acted without my knowledge. The tunic could be planted. Harald's traumatized. His memory is unreliable. But Prince Harald stood, young voice cutting through the assembly. I know what I saw, Erik. You came to that cellar, told me you couldn't risk me challenging your throne, said you'd keep me locked away for years if necessary. Those were your words, your betrayal. The assembly murmured, a 12-winter-old prince speaking with such clarity and courage. His testimony carried weight even Erik's denials couldn't match. Would you choose ambition over family? Share what brotherhood means to you below. King Ragnar stood, face showing the pain of a father forced to judge his own son. The evidence is overwhelming. Multiple witnesses, physical proof, your own victim's testimony. But you're still my blood, my heir, the hardest choice I've ever faced. Then show mercy, Erik tried. Exile me, strip my title, but spare my life. I'm your son. You stopped being my son when you betrayed your brother. Ragnar's voice broke. You stopped being worthy of Viking leadership when you chose conspiracy over honor. The law is clear. Royal betrayal demands blood eagle. Erik's confidence finally cracked. Father, please. I did this for us, for the family legacy. You did this for yourself, for power you weren't willing to earn. Ragnar turned to the assembly. What says the War Council? What justice demands this crime? Blood eagle, they answered in unison. The traditional punishment for the worst Norse traitors. Erik was taken away, screaming. Not from pain yet, but from realization that his ambition had destroyed everything. His title, his honor, his life. That night, King Ragnar called me to his private chambers. Prince Harald sat beside him, recovered but still shaken. "Gunnar," the king said quietly, "you were right. You saw the conspiracy when I was blind. Accused Erik when I refused to believe. Nearly died for speaking truth. I did my duty, my king. Protected Prince Harald as best I could. You did more than duty. You risked everything to save my youngest son." Ragnar placed a hand on my shoulder. "I'm stripping Erik's title permanently. He'll never rule. But I need a new heir, someone Harald trusts, someone who'll guide him until he's ready." "My king?" "Not immediately. Harald will inherit when he's ready. But until then, I need advisors I can trust absolutely. Warriors who proved their loyalty." Ragnar met my eyes. "I'm naming you to the War Council, Royal Advisor. You'll help prepare Harald for kingship." I knelt. "I'm honored, my king." "Don't be. It's burden more than honor. But you've earned it." He turned to Harald. "What do you say, son? Can you continue training under Gunnar? Trust him despite everything?" Harald smiled, that genuine smile. "Gunnar saved my life, protected me even when accused. I trust him completely." The next morning, Prince Erik faced Blood Eagle. What happened, I'll spare details. His screams carried across the compound until noon. Erik's execution ended at noon. The kingdom had witnessed justice carved in flesh. A prince who'd betrayed his own blood now served as eternal warning. That evening, King Ragnar gathered the War Council. I sat among them now, newly appointed royal advisor. Prince Harald attended, learning statecraft alongside warrior training. "My eldest son committed the worst Viking betrayal imaginable," Ragnar addressed the council. "Kidnapped his brother, framed an innocent warrior, shamed our family name. But we rebuild from this." "The question is succession, my king," Commander Bjorn said carefully. "With Erik gone, Harald is your only heir, but he's 12 winters old, too young to rule if something happens to you." "I'm aware. That's why I'm establishing a regency council. If I fall in battle before Harald reaches 18 winters, this council rules jointly until he's ready. No single person holds all power, no opportunity for another conspiracy." Smart decision. Multiple leaders prevented another ambitious prince from seizing control. Harald spoke up, voice steady despite his youth. "I understand the burden I'll inherit. I want to be worthy, not like Erik. I want to earn the throne through honor, not take it through betrayal." "You already show more wisdom than your brother ever did," Ragnar said warmly. "And Gunnar will ensure you're prepared. Best combat instructor in the kingdom, best judge of character. You're in capable hands." Over the following months, training resumed, but different now. Harald worked harder, understood the stakes. He'd survived his brother's conspiracy, seen how ambition could destroy families. It matured him beyond his years. One morning during sword practice, Harald asked me directly, "Did you ever doubt? When they chained you? When everyone believed you killed me?" I doubted I'd survive long enough to prove innocence, but I never doubted the truth would surface eventually. Erik could have succeeded. If father hadn't listened to you, if the servant girl hadn't found evidence, if Jarl Torsten's estate hadn't been searched. But those things did happen, because truth fights to be revealed. Viking justice demands it. I adjusted his sword grip. Remember this when you're king. Always investigate thoroughly. Never accept convenient answers. Your brother's crime succeeded because people wanted simple explanations. Would you investigate family members if evidence pointed to them? Share your commitment to truth below. Years passed. Harald completed his warrior trial at 13, joined his first raid at 15, proved himself brave and tactical. The kingdom watched their future king develop into everything Erik wasn't: honorable, wise, merciful when appropriate, fierce when necessary. At 18 winters, Harald officially became crown prince. King Ragnar remained healthy, but succession was now formalized. No questions, no conspiracies. Harald approached me during the ceremony. "You saved my life twice, Gunnar. Once from
Erik's kidnapping, once from false execution. I owe you everything." "You owe me nothing, my prince. I did my duty." "No, you did more than duty. You risked your life speaking truth when silence would have been safer." Harald clasped my arm. "When I'm king, you'll command my personal guard. Protect the next generation like you protected me." "I'm honored." "And Gunnar, I've decided something. When I have sons, I'll teach them myself. Show them what Erik's ambition cost our family. Make sure they understand. Thrones aren't taken. They're earned through loyalty and honor." If you crave more tales of royal conspiracies, Viking family betrayals, and Norse justice, subscribe now. Tell me, would you have trusted the instructor's word against a prince? In the world of Vikings, family bonds can be both strongest loyalty and darkest betrayal. Honor must be proven through actions, not birth, and every tale begins with a lie and ends with blood. Skål, warriors, until the next saga.